The World Health Organization announces good news in the fight against Ebola in West Africa. Empowering young African entrepreneurs to turn their business ideas into reality. And a milestone for South Africa rugby as Habana ties a World Cup record. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Lina Ahmadou. This is Africa 54. Vincent Makori is on assignment today. We begin with some good news from West Africa. The World Health Organization said Wednesday that there was not a single person who tested positive for Ebola in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. In the last 7 days, the three West African nations have been devastated by the deadly virus that was first reported in March 2014. The epidemic killed more than 11,000 people and sparked a panic in other parts of the world. Even though new cases have fallen sharply in 2015, the WHO warns that the disease could break out again. The epidemic is the worst known occurrence of Ebola in history. Another shining moment for Africa as the Nobel Prize Committee announced the winner of the Peace Prize in Oslo Friday.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2015 is to be awarded to the Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet for its decisive contribution to the building of a pluralistic democracy in Tunisia in the wake of the Jasmine Revolution of 2011.
The Nobel Committee honored the quartet for stabilizing Tunisia at a time when it was on the brink of civil war. The Arab Spring originated in Tunisia in 2010 and 2011 and quickly spread to other nations, sparking popular uprisings calling for democratic reform. Awards were handed out this earlier week for literature, chemistry, physics, and medicine. The World Watch Institute says women farmers produce more than half of the food grown in the world, and about 1.6 billion women depend on agriculture for their livelihoods. But often women are not able to benefit from general agriculture funding because of institutional and cultural barriers they face. Oxfam International, an organization that fights poverty, is addressing these challenges through its Female Food Heroes initiative. The program aims to contribute to wider recognition of small-scale women food producers through awarding, acknowledging, and celebrating their efforts in agriculture. Joining us in the studio for more on the subject is Bahati Jacob, a small-scale farmer in Tanzania and female food hero. Also joining us in the studio is Eluka Kibona, Economic Justice Campaign Manager for Oxfam in Tanzania. Ladies, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Let me start with you, Eluka. Can you explain to us what the Female Food Heroes concept is?
The concept is to have a reality show competition surrounding small-scale food producers. Usually you don't find reality shows that focus on food producers. So it is a competition, and it's a show that runs for 3 weeks. It airs on a daily basis in Tanzanian television network. And at the end of the competition, one winner emerges and wins 20 million Tanzanian shillings worth of farming inputs.
And Bahati was a winner. Bahati, how do you feel about winning this competition?
I was very happy. I was very happy, actually.
Very happy indeed. You got some good seed money there to perhaps start or grow your work, your farming.
I was very happy because after winning a prize, after winning that competition, I got a prize about 20 million Tanzanian shillings. So it helped me to buy agriculture inputs, so as part of my agriculture activities.
Okay, that's fantastic. Now, Eluka, yes, as I mentioned earlier, female farmers meet several challenges, yes, one of them being cultural, depending on where you are. So tell us about the issues in Tanzania as Oxfam is addressing them.
In Tanzania, I think, as you said, the issues are dynamic and they're many. They cross-cultural, structural, as well as institutional boundaries. So in terms of us in Tanzania, there are 3 areas that we work on. The first is women's land rights, which is one of the key priorities that we have in our program. We find that a lot of women across the program say land rights is a key issue. The second thing is we look at how do we invest in small-scale food production. So that's more government policy work that we do around those areas. And the last thing, we look at climate change and food production. We understand and we know that in terms of climate change, small-scale food producers, especially women, are worst affected by it. So it's definitely, we do address the culture factors around it, the structure and the political factors around it. But those are the three key issues that we try to
address. Now,
yes.
Bahati, I'd like to have some of your personal experiences. When we talk about female farmers having challenges, it's a general picture. But can you narrow down to your experience? What did you have to go through?
Yeah, as a female food hero from Tanzania, farmers, especially women, in a small scale, we do have many problems, challenges. For example, climate changes, access of loans with conditions which we do not afford. Then we don't get seeds in accurate time to plant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have no markets to sell our crops which we harvest.
It's incredible how women are playing such an important role in agriculture, but yet we talked about this challenging. Now, tell us about, in Tanzania, what Oxfam is doing. I mean, there is the food heroes that you talked about, but specifically, even in terms of bringing men as part of the solution, how are you addressing that?
I think one of the things that we do, and understanding that Oxfam in Tanzania cannot do everything and cannot be the solution to everything. So we do work within networks and coalitions, and definitely those farmers networks at local levels, and we work with other NGOs and other international NGOs which are working on similar issues, but in different areas. So those coalitions and networks help us have a greater voice when we go approach institutions and the parliament and the government bodies. But also we have allies within the government bodies, and we do understand that it's a large issue, it's a grand issue, and what we can do right now in the meantime is create a space for farmers themselves to speak and articulate their demands. We find that it's very important to give that space, allow that space for them to articulate what they want, articulate the issues, articulate their challenges, and we get better results that way. In the past, I think we've been the ones speaking too much for small-scale food producers, and I think that has been a challenge that we're trying to overcome.
It has shifted.
Yes.
And Bahati, when you look at the future after winning this prize, how do you see your work now being changed or improved? What do you see for the future for yourself?
Exactly. Apart from farmer, I am a teacher, teaching in primary schools in Ukedea districts in Mwanza region as a mistress at Mwanza Primary School. Yes, as a teacher, I do get salaries, but it was not enough for me. So that's why I totally engaged in agriculture to supplement my income. So after winning that prize, yes, my life has changed. You know, I was not owning land, but now I'm just owning land, about 7 acres. I have agriculture inputs, so you can see that I'm changing.
Okay, very nice. And quickly in 10 seconds, Eluka, how do you see, what do you say to the youth in terms of young women to be encouraged in being in agriculture, very quickly?
I think agriculture pays, and it's the backbone of African economies. And if we don't remember that, and if we don't value that, then we're going to see a real problem in the future in food security in Africa.
Thank you so much, ladies, and Bahati, Eluka. So nice to have you here. And Bahati Jacob, Tanzanian female food hero, and Eluka Kibona, Economic Justice Campaign Manager for Oxfam in Tanzania. We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, unlocking Africa's economic and social potential through entrepreneurship, however. Stay with us. Now, earlier this year, the Tony Elumelu Foundation selected 1,000 entrepreneurs from nearly 20,000 applicants from 52 African countries to participate in a two-day boot camp in Nigeria. In a recent conversation with Africa 54's Paul Ndiho, Parminder V, CEO of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, spoke about the objective of the initiative.
Well, you know, we have 1,000 entrepreneurs on our program from 51 countries. A large percentage of them are from Nigeria. It's the largest economy, the youngest population, and it is a population with entrepreneurship in their DNA. Everybody is an entrepreneur, and that's fantastic, yeah? But there were, you know, Ghana, Uganda, Kenya, South Africa were the other countries from where we got large numbers of entrepreneurs, you know, believing in their ideas and that their ideas are transformative. They really can transform.
Is there like a certain cap or a certain amount of money that you have to have for you even to consider being part of the foundation?
Now, in order for you to apply to the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program, you just have to have one thing, which is a really compelling idea. An idea that, a business idea, an enterprise that you are fully committed to realizing.
I'm just curious. I've read some criticism about the foundation. They said that since Mr. Tony Elumelu is a businessman, there's definitely something in it for him to be pursuing such a venture. What's in it for the foundation?
It is the philanthropic vision and passion and ambition of a man who has made money. Rockefeller, Ford, all of these people made money, and there comes a point where you can only have so many houses, right? You can only have so many cars. But I think what he will be really known for is the work that his foundation, the Tony Elumelu Foundation, began doing in 2010. How it empowered and skilled thousands of entrepreneurs across Africa, and through them changed the perception of Africa and the African narrative. That's what's in it for him.
Yeah, I've run into some young people who are also aspiring entrepreneurs, and they say that they would like to be part of this Tony Elumelu Foundation, but unfortunately they can't just get there. They have set the standard so high, or the bar so high, that it eliminates so many people. How would you respond to that kind of criticism?
I think it's important for us to set certain standards, yeah, and that people then aspire to those standards. But what interests us is the sustainability of the idea. So similarly, when we conceived of this program, we didn't see it as a one-off initiative. We didn't say, oh, let's try a pilot for 1 year and then we'll see. Yeah, I mean, we've done the pilot, as it were. We said, no, let's make a commitment to doing this for 10 years. Yeah, which means that we've got to get the governance, the infrastructure, the foundation, the framework right. And then, yes, we can tweak on that, but we mustn't lower the standard. But, you know, the mindset is, or the mentality in Africa, which is what Mr. Elumelu wants to change, is I need to go and find a job. But what he wants to say is, no, find the drive within and come up with some, you know, business ideas that you can create jobs. You can be the employer of people rather than the seeker of jobs.
It's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54, a milestone for a South African rugby player. We'll be right back.
The Nobel Peace Prize for 2015 is to be awarded to the Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet.
All of them, I insist, will have similar importance, and all of them will have to work as a team.
Welcome back to Africa 54. Here is what's trending. The Islamic fashion industry is no longer just the traditional headscarf and long dresses worn by many millions of Muslims women around the world. Today, the industry is growing and learning to cater to a young, fashionable, modern-day Muslim woman. According to the 2014-2015 Thomson Reuters report on the global Islamic economy, spending on Islamic clothing and footwear could reach $484 billion by 2019. The growth in the industry is attributable to the growing global Muslim population and driven mainly by women under 30. One popular new style is the capster, which is designed for women who want to participate in sports but not compromise their Islamic faith and tradition. Next up, a New York Comic-Con draws a sellout crowd. The event is for people to buy and sell comic books and features many panel discussions with actors and creators of popular films and television shows. Many of those in attendance at the fan convention wore elaborate costumes of their favorite comic book and other fictional characters. The Batman characters are enduringly popular at the event, with many dressing as the Joker and his girlfriend Harley Quinn. And finally, snow leopard cubs make their adorable zoo debut. Two 4-month-old snow leopard cubs made their public debut at the zoo in the Midwestern state of Illinois this week. Females Malaya and Dania made their first appearance outdoors at their habitat at the Brookfield Zoo since their birth on June 16th. The litter is the second for the zoo's adult snow leopard pair, 4-year-old Sarani and 5-year-old male Sabu. And that's what's trending today. It's been an exciting week in sports. For all of the highlights, we turn to Sunny Young with the sunny side of sports.
Hi, Lenore, and sporty greetings once again to our Africa 54 viewers. Here's a sunny side of sports salute to South African winger Brian Habana, who's put his name in the Rugby World Cup record books. The rugged Habana, shown holding the ball in the photo, equaled Jonah Lomu's Rugby World Cup record of 15 tries with a hat trick in South Africa's 64-0 demolition of the United States at the Olympic Stadium in London. The Springboks of South Africa will next play either Australia or Wales in the quarterfinals on October 17th at Twickenham Stadium in London. So there's a good chance Habana could own the record outright by the time this 8th Rugby World Cup comes to a close on October 31st when the final is played at Twickenham. South Africa's head coach, Heineke Meyer, is praising Habana for his performance.
Brian when we really needed him the last 2-3 weeks, he was at his best. You know, you must thank the forwards as well and the backs making it possible, but I'm so proud of him, not just as a rugby player, but as a human being as well. And it's great, you know, it's really great that he's on form. We're going to need him, hopefully, or definitely in the next game. And, you know, he's a great ambassador for South Africa. Peaked at the right time, and we're going to need more tries from him, but I'm really happy for him.
Now let's go to the western U.S. city of Phoenix, Arizona, where we'll get to meet some children whose families fled war-torn countries and refugee camps for a better life here in the USA. The children are getting a chance to play soccer or football on a special team. Arash Arabasadi reports from Phoenix.
On a hot night in the American Southwest, dozens of kids take the field.
Their background is kind of the same as mine, that we are refugees.
This is the North Phoenix Christian Soccer Club. It's full of young people whose families fled to the United States in search of a better life.
I love it here because, you know, I got a better chance to get a better education and get to play more soccer without worrying about gunshot or things.
His family came to Arizona after fleeing persecution in Burma.
We all come from different countries, we learn from each other.
For Zara from Gabon, the American voyage began after losing her dad to illness in 2009.
And then my mom was like, yes, we have to come to America because there's a lot of opportunity.
Still, both Win and Zara say the transition to life in the U.S. hasn't been easy.
When I go to school and when I meet new people, like first place, like they don't really have respect for me.
English wasn't my language. For me to talk, to communicate with people, it was pretty hard.
And that's where the soccer club comes into play.
We will never decline a kid or tell him he can't play because of the lack of not paying.
The club loans kids shoes and pays their registration fees. That comes to about $30,000 a year, paid by the club's president and a few outside donors. The club even provides transportation.
If we don't pick them up, they don't get here. It's about a 2-hour pickup, and it's something that we want to do and that we do.
Without a ride, many of these kids would not be able to participate in an activity they say shapes their lives.
The soccer club is very important to me. Like it helped me adapt to this world.
Their time in the club is limited. 18 is the cutoff age for most players. But the values of youth sports, like social skills and teamwork, will likely follow these foreign-born footballers in their new lives as soccer-playing Americans. In Phoenix, Arash Arabasadi, VOA News.
Thanks, Arash. I'm VOA's Sonny Young, and that's the sunny side of sports. Lenore?
Thank you, Sonny. Watch for Sunny Side of Sports every Monday and Friday on Africa 54. It's time for Music Makers Friday, and joining us in the studio is vocalist and countertenor Hisham Breedlove. Hisham, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lenore. How are you?
I'm good. So you are a countertenor. What does that mean?
A countertenor is a male voice, the male register, that is, I guess, if you had to equate it to the modern day voice, if you know Maxwell or Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
Yeah, it's basically that, but just classical opera style of singing.
Fantastic. Now, tell us how this love of music, singing, actually came to you.
Well, I grew up in Zimbabwe, and I had my first opportunity as a professional career at the age of 12 in the Drakensberg Boys Choir School, and it just went from there.
It went from there. And did you have were you familiar with anybody singing? I believe your mother or your grandmother, someone in your family was singing?
My grandmother, she's the only one in my family that is an opera singer, and she was my influence all throughout my life. She's with the Lord now, but she's watching me at every moment.
That's fantastic. Now, today you are here in the United States. You had quite a story there, trying to get where you are now. You graduated from school. Where are you? Where do you stand in your career as of today?
Okay, well, I finished my undergrad at Washington Adventist University, and then I did my master's in music at Morgan State University.
All right.
And once I completed that, I moved back to the DC area, and I'm just basically trying to find jobs. I'm trying to find management.
Okay.
And just
so you're ready to go.
Throwing myself
you're ready to throw yourself out there and ready to be on the road. Well, Isham, very quickly, if you were to give me a tip in terms of having a good singing voice, what would it be?
Okay. Well, one of the most important things to do when you sing is using the correct muscles. Okay. And you need training for that, and that comes from the diaphragm, whereas like most people sing from the throat.
Yeah. So let's see you in action. Take it away, Hisham.
Sure. I'll sing Ave Maria by Schubert.
Go ahead. fantastic. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
It's amazing, and I can't wait to hear more of you. I cannot do that, definitely, that's for sure. But it's great, and perhaps we can get some tips, some more tips. Have you come back and teach people the basics of good voice? So thank you, Isham. We'll come back to you for more, and that's our show for today. We'll leave you with more of countertenor Hisham Breedlove. Thanks for watching, and good night from Washington. You can continue. You can continue.
Music is something that brings people together.
Music educates, it motivates, it's a bridge.
Music.
Alley.
On.
VOA.
qubanaha VOA waxaan ku soo gudbinnaa qubanayaal goosgoosa oo xiiso badan oo ku saabsan arrimaha Soomaaliya, Maraykanka iyo caalamkaba.
haddaba qubanaha VOA-da kala soco website-keena voasomali.com.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Technology Report.
I'm Mil Arcega. I'm the host of VOA's The Correspondents.
A roundup of the world's top stories.
Here's a false choice in more ways than one.
We can't actually put you there, but we can come pretty close. In 30 minutes, we'll show you the world.